As we continue on in Unit 1, we'll need to identify two of the influential forces in American life, science and religion. Now, these two had gained strength by the early 1800s in America, really as a result of historical movements such as the Age of Reason, the Enlightenment, and the Great Awakening that were happening throughout or had happened prior to the early days of our nation's history. As American authors continued to forge the literary identity of the United States, still new philosophies began to come into play. Transcendentalism, largely through the works of Ralph Waldo Emerson, became a controversial intellectual philosophical movement that some scholars have claimed made more of an impact on American thinking than any other literary movement. Transcendentalism is really a subgenre of American Romanticism, and like Romanticism, it strove for a revolutionary way of viewing the world. Now, interestingly enough, Emerson himself wrote in his essay, The Transcendentalist, that he was not introducing new ideas, but rather was exploring the very oldest of thoughts cast in the mold of these new times. Emerson really hoped to shrug off the negative baggage surrounding ideas of God and religion that had become so prevalent in New England and other parts of the country by this time. He did this by literally changing the religious jargon and speaking about God and religion in starkly different terms. Terms some embraced and others scorned because it made them quite uncomfortable. So this really was revolutionary. Some even went so far as accusing Emerson of making up his own religion. Well, you'll have to be the judge of that as we explore his works. Emerson also recognized something important, that the pursuit of happiness in America was largely wrapped up in finding answers to life's big questions. What is man's purpose here on earth? Why are we here? What makes a life worth living? As a result, he worked to answer those questions by recognizing a need to move beyond the two common places people went for answers to those questions. Coming back again to science and religion. Emerson suggested that the true answers to life's questions and the secrets to living a fulfilling, meaningful life are really beyond science and religion. Those answers every human is looking for transcend the boxes we have created for science and religion, and they are also available to anyone whose heart and mind are truly open. Emerson didn't discount religion and science as some critics think, but he really proposed a new way of seeing the world, through the lens of something beyond both science and religion, without the limitations of both of them. Well, as you can imagine, this did not appeal to everyone, and there were many writers who responded through anti-transcendentalist writings that emphasized human flaws, human depravity, and our inability to be as godlike as Emerson seemed to be suggesting. After personally spending time at the Transcendentalist experiment in communal living called Brook Farm, Nathaniel Hawthorne decided it did not live up to the revolutionary ideals it encompassed, and he left. He witnessed the flaws of human nature overpowering the idealist beliefs of the Transcendentalist. He and other authors like Herman Melville write about our inability as humans to escape evil behavior. So, this unit continues to have deep roots in the Christian worldview. Though by the 1800s, Puritanism was no longer the common religious practice of the United States, its influence was far from gone. As we look more closely at Transcendentalism, anti-Transcendentalism, and the authors associated with both movements, we'll also explore how these ideas were made manifest in the nonfiction and fiction of the 1800s.